What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn has offered Jermall Charlo, I said Jermall Charlo, a huge substantial offer for a one-fight deal to fight the WBO middleweight champion, Dimitrius Andrade, or Andrade, right? Now, if we known anything about Eddie Hearn, when he talks money, he means business. And when he speaks business, it's backed up by action, okay? And what have we saw lately from Eddie Hearn? We saw Mikey Garcia sign with dazn one time, $7 million to face Jesse Vargas on dazn. This fight with, well, we seen Andy Ruiz, right? $7 million, upset Joshua. Then he made $13 million in the rematch, okay? $20 million. Okay, so we have a $20 million for a two-fight deal with Ruiz, a $1 million $7 million one-fight deal with Mikey Garcia. Now, it's another one-fight offer to Jamal Charlo, which is the WBC middleweight champion by default, mind you, and he is being offered a lump sum of money to fight on dazn. Now, the question is, will Jamal Charlo take this amount of money, right? And a lot of people think, oh man, he got to take that money. You know, that would be in his best interest. But if I know PBC and I know people that are not, they haven't showed us that they're the smartest people in the world. You know, chances are he might not take that money. Okay? Now, let me explain to you guys why. Do you guys remember when Deontay Wilder was offered $120 million from dazn, and that wasn't from Eddie Hearn, but that was a dazn deal from John Skipper. So that was one of those massive deals that don't come around every day. One of those deals that it's maybe, and I hate to say once in a lifetime, but it's one of those deals like, hey, think real hard about this deal before you say yes or you say no. Really think about it if you're fixing your mouth to say no about a deal like that. Now, is it the same type of deal? No. Is it on that magnitude? No. Is it in the same ballpark? Yes. Let me explain why. Because you look at Jamal Charlo and you look at how things are in the middleweight division, how things are structured. We have Andrade, we have Canelo, we have Billy Joe, we have Danny Jacobs, we have, who else is there? You know, even David Lemieux, even these guys. You have pretty much every middleweight there that is a champion or going to be a champion. You got Golovkin, you got Deverenchenko. You have so many of these dudes that are all fighting on dazn. So Jamal Charlo is in essence is in the same ballpark as Terrence Crawford, right? Because Terrence Crawford is that one welterweight champion that is not with PBC. While PBC has Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence. You know, they got all those guys over there, right? Now, what is the difference between Jamal's situation and Terrence Crawford's situation? I'll tell you the major difference. One, Terrence Crawford actually fought someone to get where he needs to be, right? He fought for the WBO championship. He earned it. It wasn't passed down to him. Another example, Terrence Crawford is wanting these fights. That's not been the case, or that hasn't seemed to be the case with Jamal Charlo. Okay, I don't know what Jamal Charlo has. I do remember him and his brother were going to at least hear Eddie Hearn out before they turned it down, which initially they turned it down because they're not with dazn, right? But Jamal's in a better position. Why? Because Jamal, first of all, he had a belt handed to him. Canelo handed it to him because they elevated this fool to franchise champion. He's the franchise champion now of the WBC, right? By default, they gave the belt to Jermall. For that reason, if I'm really a true champion, honestly, and I like the Charlos, I have nothing against the Charlos. It's just, it's a certain thing called integrity, right? It's the right way to do things, and it's not the right way to do things, okay? If somebody handed me a belt, I would feel uneasy about accepting that belt if I didn't have to fight nobody to get it, right? But that's happened. He was happy about that. He was like, fuck it, I got the WBC belt. They know I'm the baddest ass. They ducked me. That's what I didn't want to, the scenario, the narrative that people ducked Jamal Charlo because nobody wanted to fight him. He wanted Canelo. But then yet now, if that's the case, now you have Andrade, right? Offering through his promoter a one-fight deal with dazn. It was Andrade that wanted this deal to go. He said, hey, make that fight happen with Jermall Charlo. Why? Because he's been trying to fight to Jermall Charlo since 154 pounds, since super welterweight division, okay? When all these guys were undefeated, they're still undefeated. Well, except Jermall. He's not undefeated. But, he's been wanting that for a long time. So that's the fight that could be made, and that's the fight that's offered, okay? Now, a one-fight deal, if here's the thing. If Jermall Charlo does not accept that one-fight deal, two things that tells you. One, he's brainwashed by his God, which is Al Heyman, the guy that runs all that over on the PBC. They're brainwashed to a tremendous deal. Two, he doesn't want to fight for what he has. He doesn't want to defend anything, and he doesn't have any intention on unifying. So at this point of boxing, if you don't plan to unify the belts, you don't plan to be undisputed, if you don't seek any other thing besides just having a strap around your waist, you're really wasting your time as a fighter, unless you're just doing it for the pay, which they should be doing it for the pay, but it should be something else behind it. It should be a credo that you're vouching for, you're striving for. But if Jamal Charlo does not accept this deal, he's afraid to lose, he doesn't have ambition, and he's brainwashed. Okay? That's pretty much all we need to know about Jermall. And then this is a guy that doesn't really have many options. Yes, they're pushing to Chris Eubank because Chris Eubank is over on the PBC, but how long are you going to stretch that fight out? How long are you going to drag that particular fight, try to build? Because they're all about build a fight, and they're going to try to throw that shit on pay-per-view and make people buy it for $80. Crazy. And then when the shit does bad and it flops, because what's happening, Showtime ain't going to pick it up. Fox is starting to pick up all that shit, because I guess they can afford to take a loss as opposed to Showtime, because Showtime Championship Boxing is only one category in Showtime overall. That's why HBO Sports and Boxing went belly up, because they only had one area and category in HBO. Okay, so they couldn't go to this other category in HBO. HBO is a multi-million-dollar company, but that one category can't suck and cipher all the money because of some bad investment. You see what I'm saying? So with Jermall, I don't know if he will, but if he doesn't, I won't be surprised. I won't. I'll be disappointed because I want to see Jermall finally fight Andrade. I want to know how good Andrade is fighting someone that is a power puncher. I want to see how good both of these guys in fighting each other. That's the fight I want to see. I've been wanting to see this fight for a very long time. But if it doesn't happen again, people, I wouldn't be surprised, because if Deontay Wilder on that same side of the street shit, and that same platform, that same stable, under that same management, can turn down $120 million, you can't really get too pissed off at Jermall or be too surprised that he turns down that $7 million, So it's it's the principalities of this thing, right? They're looking at it as it's the principle of, I'm gonna stay loyal to who I'm with, and I'm not gonna go over there to fight for this white man, because that's the narrative. That's the narrative, right? While a lot of people don't do that, they think that we can't do this because someone has preached to them that white promoters will fuck you over. Well, newsflash, motherfuckers, so will black ones. Promoters are janky overall with the things that they do. Anybody that you pay a pension to that doesn't jump into the ring to take your punches is fucking you some type of way. You know what I mean? Let's just be real. But that's the name of the game. That's how it's structured. That's what it is. Now fighters have, more rights. They have a say so in a lot more things than back in the day, which Barry Hearn let us know about so graciously in his tactless way of explaining that shit. But, he did explain, like, it was, they had the say so. They were the mouth for the boxer. So, back to Jermall. Jermall probably won't take the money. He might want to. He might want to take $7 million, but it just shows you the difference between someone that thinks for themselves, like Mikey Garcia, and someone that thinks someone has someone thinking for them, right? Which may be Jamal Charlo. But we will see what Jermall does. I hope he surprises me. I hope he proves me wrong, because I'm hoping that he does, in fact, take the deal. And if he takes the deal, that shows that he does want to do other things besides get a paycheck and talk a bunch of shit and look hard. But anyway, that's my take on that. You guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.